very correct, but
Okay.
it's on the okay, and Mike was talking about it. You know, a trust can be used to protect everything. I don't own anything. I control everything. I do work. I do own a business. The money that I make, I go through and donate that to my charitable trust. My charitable trust handles bills, all kinds of other things. I don't use the all caps name anymore. So now my tax liability is zero, other than going through and buying stuff. Now, everything that I have, whether it be cars, whether it be possessions, you can create the gun trust and put each one individually in a separate trust. So now, because my son is a beneficiary, he's part of the trust, and say that I have a suppressor that's within the trust. Well, now because he's a beneficiary of the trust and he's on that document, he can come over without having to get a tax stamp, borrow, or I shouldn't say borrow, because he has all rights to come over to the house to grab one and go use it. Now, God forbid something happen and he causes damage or whatnot. The only thing that people could actually litigate for in the courts is whatever in that one trust, because everything's separate. So if I don't own anything, nobody can come after me for anything. I also have a dog. A dog is considered property. And because of that, I've put my dog within a trust. God forbid he goes out and eats somebody's chicken, and now they're coming after me for thousands of dollars. Well, they can only go after what's in that trust. They can go after the dog, but they can't go after anything else because I don't own anything. So that means I have nothing to give.
Now,
We're not.
in case people don't understand, this is how all those, they like to call themselves the elite. This is how they work things too, right? So they don't have any of these tax liabilities. They pretty much put a Teflon coating on the outside of them for things that they're not actually doing to people. This is how they
So
roll with it,
back,
right?
yes. So back here in Michigan, and it's been a long time ago. I'd say probably 30 years ago. That one of our governors, he went through and got in a car accident. He was drinking and driving. And you know, he lives in a great big huge house. He's got all kinds of stuff. By the time everything was said and done, his total liability to the court after they was trying to sue him, the insurance company paid out, but they was only able to grab $6,000 from him. And I'm like, well, he's got this house. They can't take anything else. How? Why? How is this possible? And it wasn't until probably about 10 years after that. This was back when I was early 20. Yeah, I was about 20. Um, but I couldn't wrap my head around to how is it that these people are fighting in court for years, and the only thing he ever had to pay out was $6,000. How does that work? Well, it's because he owned nothing. So he created the problem. And in the Bible, you know, it tells us that if we injure somebody, then it's our job to make them whole. That's lawful.
That's right.
That's
That's right.
living lawfully.
Yep.
So, you know, so I'm not telling somebody to go out and do this to protect yourself, to, you know, become a criminal mastermind and save everything that you got and go out and injure people. This can be used as a double-edged sword. You know, it can be used for people that are great, but it's also usually primarily used for those that are evil. And any trust, because it's a fiction, it's in all capital names. So you're dealing with, you know, the satanic side of things. God said in the book of James that he's a respecter of men, but not persons. Well, the legal definition for person is a corporation. So God is against corporations because people hide behind them. But a trust is how we go through, pass things down, protect our things as long as we're living godly.
Amen. Vaughn, we got a question about that because in the chat, somebody asked, "Do you guys recommend ever doing a will, or only the trust?" And my understanding is your trust, once you establish it, if you've got if you've got beneficiaries in there or trustees in there, like your kids, your wife, or if the woman sets it up, a husband, whatever the case may be, that they automatically can take control of that if you die. But I may be wrong in that. Do you guys recommend a will to go along with the trust as well?
So you can write up a will, and then you can put it on the record. I
Okay.
wouldn't take it into the court. I would just do recording for underneath miscellaneous land recordings, and record the will. But when you're in, basically your will is going to point towards the trust. So God forbid something happened to me, because I don't own anything, nothing goes through probate. That means that because the trust owns it, then the beneficiaries that I have named within the trust, it moves to them. And I have it within my will as to, God forbid something happened to me, that who the successor or who actually assumes the title of executor to keep the trust moving.